Hello, everyone. Good Friday. Good morning. Thank you, Eris, for doing all the mod stuff and being awake and, here all on top of everything always this morning. Good morning, Christine and Cynthia and Tom and Reindeer and Cassie and Not Snibbles and Farrell. Thank you for the Shizzy raid and Mary Fawcett. Good morning from New Brunswick, Canada. And Shirley and Talking Trash and Truth. Have a good day, humaning. Jude, good morning. And Lefty and JKD Buck. I try. Captain Kern, good morning. And JD Fan. Derek, good morning. And Janine and Leslie McGinnis. So our first story is, try not to pick your schnoz when you're gonna be on the jumbotron. These are life these are things to live by. Irish La Tejana, thank you for being a member for 1 month. And y'all, it is Friday. We have made it to the end of the week. It has been a long week, but we have made it. Justin Smith, good morning, and Terry D, and Iron Rabbit and Francis Xavier, good morning. So, Dodgers co-owner caught in an unfortunate viral television moment during Seoul series. Good morning, Ali Riddell and George Lowe and Aussie Tank. So, Dodgers co-owner Todd Bowley appeared to let his nerves get the best of him during the 2024 MLB Seoul series on Wednesday. The billionaire businessman appeared to pick his nose with double-barreled pick his nose. Uh, when his team was trailing the San Diego Padres in the 8th inning of the first game on Wednesday at the Gojek Skydome in South Korea, according to a video that surfaced on social media. ESPN cameras caught the moment at bat for the Dodgers outfielder James Outman. You think with a name like Outman, you probably shouldn't be in baseball, but I'm not a sports ball person. Good morning, Brian Smith and Hey Joe. And the nervous looking, well, doggone it, the nervous looking Todd appeared to be slouched in his seat behind home plate and what appeared to be two fingers, well, directly in his schnoz. As you can see, possibly not the most dignified look. Oh, don't put them in your mouth now. The Dodgers ultimately scored 4 runs that inning to erase the 1-run deficit and beat the Padres. So, there you go. Now, that's all I know about sports ball. Ask Sal for anything. Uh, Justin, there was a news story about someone picking their nose. Of course, I was going to put it first. In Canadian news, a lawsuit alleges that two Calgary teachers, quote, working together, end quote, together to be gross human beings and abuse students. This guy looks like he has a paneled van. A former Calgary teacher accused of assaulting junior high students had help from a guidance counselor who has already been convicted of assaulting children. With the two providing cover for each other, lawyers allege on the eve of a lawsuit being filed against the two men and the Calgary Board of Education. Michael Gregory died by self deletion in 2021, 5 days after he was criminally charged with 17 counts of assault and exploitation involving 6 girls. They had been students at John Ware Junior High School, where Gregory taught between the years of 1986 and 2006. And good morning, Charlotte Storinger. Hopefully I said that correctly. No, I hope not. A $40 million lawsuit was filed in 2021 against CBE and Gregory's estate. There are 16 alleged victims named as plaintiffs. The lawsuit seeks damages for the Emotional and SA abuse suffered by the victims. It is alleged that junior high school staff, including a vice principal, were well aware of his degenerate behavior, because of course they were. A bad faith decision last year, a new law firm HMC Lawyers LLP took over the 2021 case. At a press conference Monday, lawyer David Corrigan said that the CBE abruptly, quote, pulled the pin on mediation just days before it was set to begin on March 12th. With hopes of a settlement dashed, Corrigan and co-counsel Megan Potier said that their clients were left devastated. They called the move by the CBE a bad faith decision. HMC said it will apply to the court to discontinue the class action and proceed instead with a mass tort action. Now, this might be something I can maybe contact Runkle with, and he can maybe put me in contact with someone who understands Canada law, because I don't understand how any of this stuff works, but this is ridiculous. That means instead of a representative plaintiff pursuing the claim on behalf of other class members, a mass tort action would allow for plaintiffs to pursue their cases individually, with a judge assessing on a case by case basis what compensation a victim is entitled to. Lawyers Megan Potier and David Corrigan, as pictured above, represent the 16 plaintiffs who are suing the Calgary Board of Education. The plaintiffs say that they were victimized by teachers between 1988 and 2004. A revised statement of claim will be filed Tuesday to include naming a second John Ware teacher and former guidance counselor as a defendant. That teacher previously admitted to abusing students at another school. CBC News is not naming the second teacher because the updated statement of claim has not been filed and he has not been charged criminally in connection with the allegations from his time at John Ware. It is amazing that the media protects all of the gross people, isn't it? Well, I know that Ian's bailiwick is more of a, the self-defense thing. So I wouldn't want him to, maybe talk on things that he's not quite familiar with. But if he could maybe get me in connection with someone who understands this sort of law, because I know it's not all the same. Uh, Potier says the law firm has interviewed witnesses who will testify that Gregory and the second teacher were, quote, working together to assist each other in abusing children, and the two men provided cover for each other with parents and teachers. The lawyers say that they have one client who alleges he was victimized by the second teacher when he was in grade 7. That man is considering to whether to go to the police, according to Corrigan. Corrigan says his law firm uncovered evidence of at least 7 reports of abuse made to teachers, principals, and guidance counselors at John Ware School. So we know that, in fact, multiple teachers knew what was going on and multiple administrators knew what was going on, and steps were never taken to correct the situation. Hmm, my shock. I hope that these victims can get the justice that they deserve and require. Unfortunately, with the breakdown of independent media in Canada, and I am not fully immersed in Canadian, politics as much as I am in American politics, and I'm not from Canada, but I don't know that you'll be able to get as much reporting on this as you would other things. I do have another sports ball thing, but I think that the gentlemen will like this better. The Dodgers were awestruck by the first pitch thrown by a South Korean actress. Oh, I'm going to mess this up. Uh, Jeong, Jeon, Jong Seo, in a viral moment. And thank you, John, for the super chat. I need to go get more Mod Podge today. I use too much glue. Yeah, he's kind of a doofus, unfortunately. Ours is kind of a dingus, though, so doofus and dingus. We really can't. Freddie Freeman had himself a Sunday during a Dodgers exhibition game in South Korea, but it was the initial toss by South Korean actress, that name I just really did badly, that captivated audiences. The Los Angeles dugout, specifically before the Dodgers Seoul Series game against Kim Woom Heroes, got underway at the Gocheck Sky Dome. The 29-year-old film star stood on the mound to throw out the ceremonial first pitch. As she ready to hurl the ball toward home plate, several members of the Dodgers appeared to take in the moment off the field as it was captured off the on broadcast. And thank you, Lefty, for becoming a new member. Uh, let's see. Jeon, who starred in the Netflix 2023 film The Ballerina and currently appears in South Korean television series Wedding Impossible, then so I guess she threw the ball well because oh, okay. Wait a minute, JKD, but okay. So Ji Yong Jong Suh. Thank you. And Fisher of Men, no, you you heard me really mispronounce terrible, terrible well, mispronounce terrible things. The Dodgers demolished their opponent, 14-3, thanks in part to a home run by Friedman, who I don't know. So yay, sports ball. But apparently this chick, was able to throw really well, so I can't imagine why they were filming her from behind. No idea. I mean, she's very cute. I'll give give 'em that. The Dodgers very, very interested in cultural, awareness. Okay, well, I mean, they all seemed very, very, interested. In this woman was a I am not shocked. Quote, "Witches welcome. Woman set fire to stranger's porch after no one answered her knocking," police said. You know, with this mugshot, I am not shocketh. A 46-year-old woman in Iowa was arrested after she allegedly started a fire on a "Thank you for being a member for 4 months," 2 p.m. in an early day home. Going to the booze store seems like a level-headed and smart adult choice. I approve. I mean, these aren't even curlers. I don't even know what those are. Those look like possibly a no, I think that's a brush that just got lost in there. I think that's a plastic comb that just lost the ghost. Um, was arrested after she allegedly started a fire on a porch of a stranger's home, explaining she was a witch and the home had a sign that said, "Witches welcome." Well, I mean, false advertising. What are you going to do? Michelle Young was taken into custody on Tuesday and charged with one serious misdemeanor count of reckless use of fire or explosive destructive device. And thank you, Nicholas, for gifting 5 memberships. And those went to Starzy, and, Greedy Bloke. Let's see here. Scott McGinnis, or Scotty Mc no, Scott McGinnis, sorry. And Don Whittingham, or Whithagen, sorry. I will learn to read, and Ali Riddell. I knew I was missing one. I don't I think I have a wig that the cats have messed up thoroughly that I don't even need to Tim you that, to be honest. I think I have a wig that has been thoroughly, ratted by the cats that I know n I no longer need to destroy one. I think I have. It will be okay. And thank you. Oh, that wasn't Nicholas, that was Captain Kern. I am sorry. It's been a bit of a long week. I am doing okay, but I will be happy for I love my children. I will be happy for them to go back to, "Oh, we both gifted. Well, that makes more sense. Alright. Well, I'm glad that I wasn't having a brain fart completely." I was like, "Wow, Mo, get on top of things." Okay, so then Captain Kirk gifted, and though it went to Sea Souter and Poppy, Vodka Blood. I haven't seen you in a while. Hope you are doing well, and also life goals. Dirk Diggler and Adriana, Daphnasis. Look, I'm very sorry. I graduated before No Child Left Behind. I am working on my phonics as we speak, possibly. Alrighty. Now, I am not sure why she felt compelled to. I thought she was a good witch, not a bad witch. According to a news release from the Burlington, Iowa Police Department, officers responded to a home at about 4:30 on Tuesday after the homeowner called 911 and reported receiving a an alert of motion from her security camera. The homeowner was not at her residence, but then told the dispatcher that a woman had just lit a fire on her porch. The homeowner also noted she did not know who the woman was and had never interacted with. Yeah, well, I have a long to-do list. Interacted with the alleged pyro. Once there, first responders said they found Young on the porch. She told the officers that her friends lived in the home before allegedly confessing that she had started the fire on the porch of the residence. Police said firefighters from the Burlington Fire Department quickly put out the fire, which had caused minimal damage to the residents. Fire or officers placed Young under arrest and during a search found she had paraphernalia on her. Are we all shocked? Resulting in an additional misdemeanor charge. According to a report from the Hawkeye, Young also told police that she had been walking around the area picking up a slew of random items before she got to the residence. Believing it was her friend's home, she said she knocked on the front door 3 times, but no one answered. She claimed the home had a sign that read, "Witches Welcome." She then reportedly told officers that she was a witch herself and decided to set some clothing and a few items she had just collected on fire. As you do. I'll have to look at it. I mean, as you do, someone's not at the door, you just put up smoke signals. It's just it I mean, why leave a note? The smoldering ashes of your latest collection of, found crafts. She reportedly emphasized that it was not her intent for the fire to harm anyone or get out of control and damage the property. Well, she's a conscientious person. There you go. Young was booked into the Des Moines County Jail in lieu of $5,000 bond. She is scheduled to appear in court on the afternoon of March 29th for her preliminary hearing. Just tell them you're a witch. I say keep the combs in there. I mean, she's at least she's extremely happy to be in a booking shop. Mm. I can't, y'all. What is going on? The world's first Michelin-starred meal in space will cost you $495,000, so start looking for change in your couch. Let's see here. This meal is out of this world. Having a Michelin-starred meal in space already would be an astronomical feat, and it comes at a sky-high price. Space VIP, one of the first luxury space tourism companies, will host an immersive dining experience in space with Michelin-starred Denmark chef Rasmus Monk. Six explorers will, quote, be making history by enjoying a meal of a lifetime above 99.9% of Earth's atmosphere during a 6-hour journey, starting at just the small price. Um, hey, Ghostery, Friberto had to be put down on Tuesday. He got into some, we don't know, but he got really sick. So, I will probably put up the cat video probably next week, but, yeah. So, he is still our bestest not Pomsky, but he will not be making appearances anymore. Let's see here, it will be $495,000 per ticket. So, just start looking, in your hedge funds, in your 401ks, you know, in in your Bitcoins, however Bitcoins are supposed to work. Hello, Tom Gillis Golf Instruction. All proceeds from the mission will benefit the Space Prize Foundation, which promotes gender equality in space and technology. Thank you so much, Ghostery. Good morning, Chris Mullen. Gender equality, and I just want people who know how to math. I don't really care who knows how to math. I know I don't know how to math. I would just like the best mathers to be mathing for science. This is the first in a series of expeditions in partnership with leading artists to designed to harness the power of space travel to elevate human consciousness and promote universal space literacy. Roman Chiporica, founder of Space VIP, told the Post. Well, there you go. The chef will cater his meal aboard Space Perspective spaceship Neptune, the world's first non or carbon neutral spaceship, during a mission set to launch in late 2025 from Kennedy Space Center in Florida. Spaceship Neptune is not a rocket, but rather a pressurized capsule propelled gently by a space balloon. Um, Now, I seem to remember like balloons like the Hindenburg, but I'll just I'll leave the Hindenburg. Uh, Space Perspective is making the experience of space more accessible than ever. Jane Pointier, founder and co CEO of Space Perspective, said in a statement, with our unique space flights, we are enabling what can be this completely life changing moment for people, a profound shift in the way we humans view the world and our place in it. As they ascend to 100,000 feet above sea level, explorers will have access to Wi Fi on board and can live stream their experience and connect with friends and family on Earth during their flight. Okay, why go to space if you're not gonna completely unplug and look at all the cool space shit? I mean, stuff, excuse my French. Like, I love y'all to death, but if I was in space, I would be looking at all the space stuff. Travelers will also get to watch the sunrise over the Earth's curvature in style. Uh-oh, they're gonna piss off all the flat earthers. Space Perspective offers, quote, "the most safe and accessible way to travel to space with Spaceship Neptune," the CEO said, "through a completely reimagined spaceflight experience with no training or special gear required." Chef Rasmus will serve imaginative dishes inspired by the role of space exploration during the last 60 years of human history and the impact it's had on our society, both scientifically and philosophically. Okay, I don't know how you're going to make. Look, all I've got to say is that astronaut ice cream is incredible already. How are you going to make it better? Freeze dried ice cream is awesome. So, how are you going to make it look better? And I don't, again, I wouldn't want to eat if I got 6 hours up in space. Okie dokie. In fact, well, let's see here. I'm trying to figure out how you get back down. Apparently, they don't tell you. I guess you just deflate yourself slowly, I hope. I can't see terrible things happening with this. In FAFO, American Airlines passenger put into a headlock and forced off a plane after hurling some very gross words at a flight attendant. Now, I'm not gonna show the video because YouTube gets a little upset when you show mean words. An American Airlines passenger was put into a headlock and escorted off the plane in a chaotic scene after he hurled anti Semitic slurs at a flight attendant, according to wild footage and a report. The pandemonium aboard airline flight 2506, destined for Philadelphia, broke out before the plane even took off from Tampa International Airport on Tuesday afternoon. The unruly passenger, wearing a blue and white striped button down shirt, lobbed insults at staff and passengers before accusing other flyers of teaming up on him as he was directed off the aircraft. Video posted to social media shows. Uh, in one instance, he called another flight attendant who was dealing with him a mean word that may be breaded. Welcome, Broken Baker. Uh, Quote, "I am trying to get trying to get to my home country, and all you people make it harder for me to get to my home country," he shouted. He then got in the face of another man in the aisle who wore a blue pullover and encouraged him to get off. The confrontation escalated when the unruly passenger accused the other flyer in blue of touching him. The separate footage shows the pair started pushing each other before the man in blue grabbed the rabble rouser in a headlock, according to the video. Look, don't piss off a man in Florida in a blue pullover. uh, so I think for the balloon, you only get 6 hours in space. So that's 500K for 6 hours in space. And I have seen Iron Chef. So your portions are about, yay big. So I hope you're not super hungry. Now put your hands down and don't touch anyone, the man screamed as he kept his counterpart in a headlock. "I'm a police officer," said a woman in a backwards hat as she approached the duo, leading the man in blue to reply, "So am I." "Turn around and walk," the man in blue told the disruptive passenger as he continued to restrain his arms. This is the most Florida of Florida things. Woman in backward shirt with the Ron John shirt is like, "I'm a cop," and he's like, "I'm a cop too." Guy in the headlock like, "I'm just in a headlock." The woman in the hat and another flyer who had a sleeve tattoo helped escort the unruly man to the plane's exit, according to footage. The Tampa International Police Department told the Philadelphia Inquirer a man was arrested outside the plane around 5:30 Tuesday and charged with disorderly intoxication. That is not halal, and 2 counts of battery. American Airlines told the newspaper Thursday that law enforcement was called to the plane because of a quote disturbance in the cabin involving a disruptive customer. The flight was delayed due to the brouhaha. Well, there you go. I'm glad that, everyone worked together to get this butt monkey out of the airplane. Um, in very important Swedish news, Swedish appeal court rules that space rock should stay with the owner of the property where it landed. I don't know why this was a big deal, but apparently it went all the way to the Court of Appeals. A Swedish landowner won a legal battle Thursday to keep a 14 kilogram or 31 pound meteorite. Uh, when appeals court ruled that such rocks should be considered, quote, immovable property and part of the land where they are found. The property on which the meteorite landed contains iron, and the meteorite is made of iron. Therefore, quote, it cannot be easily separated from that or from what is usually regarded as immovable property. The Court of Appeals ruled. On November 7th, 2020, an iron meteorite fell on a private property in Uppland, north of Stockholm. In December of that year, two geologists found it and eventually handed it over to the Swedish Museum of Natural History in the Swedish capital. Swedish news agency TT said the owner of the private land where it was found, Johan, that's a last name. Holy dear goodnight nurse. Nicholas, that's a you last name. Something something foreign. Appealed a December 2022 ruling by the district court. The ruling gave the rock's finders, the geologist, the right to remove the stone because the meteorite was not part of the property and was a movable property without an owner. On Thursday, the appeals court said that the iron meteorite is, quote, made up of substances that are already present in the Earth's surface. Judge Robert Green said that the meteorites or space rocks should be considered as, quote, part of immovable property, just like other stones, even though it may intuitively feel like it is something foreign of the or to the earth. Swedish law, known as this word, may give everyone the freedom to roam freely in Sweden on the condition that nature and animal are respected, but it does not give anyone the right to take a meteorite from someone else's land. The finders have also claimed that there was an agreement allowing them to take the meteorite. However, the appeals court said that there was no evidence of such a deal. Get it in writing. I have no idea. Well, see, there we go. We have an actual Swedish person to explain it to us. And holy fazoli's that name. That's a that's a I feel sad for that kid when he was in kindergarten, like, "Good night, nurse." So there you go. It is unclear whether the geologist would appeal to Sweden's Supreme Court. I'm in kind of sad news, but an update. I know a lot of us are thank you so much, Celestial Force, uh, are keeping an eye on this. I haven't really reported on this because I do want more information to come out. But a blanket belonging to missing Wisconsin 3-year-old found almost 1 month after he disappeared. So a blanket following belonging to missing 3-year-old boy Elijah Vu has been discovered almost 1 month after the Wisconsin toddler's disappearance, police said Monday. Elijah disappeared from an apartment in Two Rivers about 90 miles north of Milwaukee. A blanket became a key focus of the ongoing search for the clues as to his whereabouts. Now, this case has been hinky from the get go. You have the mother who left her 3-year-old son with her boyfriend to learn him manners. And him teaching him manners and how to respect his mom involved him standing in corners for hours and possibly getting doused with cold water, according to some sources that I've read. Uh, it it's looking a lot like many of the cases where the parents state that, the child done got kidnapped, but they know exactly where the child is, if you're catching my drift. Now, again, I am not an investigator. I haven't been um, following this as closely, but this is starting to look a lot like that. And have a good day adulting, squid pro quo. So it is looking a lot like that. Um, and that's why I haven't been covering this case as much because I want to wait for a lot of the probable cause affidavits and things like that to come out. Now, both the mother and the boyfriend are in jail right now for neglect and neglect charges at the moment. But I do believe that they are leaning on them because I don't think a lot of things are adding up. And sadly, I don't know that there's going to be a happy ending to this one, and it's sad when we're going to have another case where it's going to be the first responders in the town that are gonna come up and stand for this little boy. It's really embarrassing. Woman contracted herpes at a nail salon due to poor hygienic practices, lawsuits claim. This is why I don't get my nails done. Also, I can't sit still that long. A woman claims in a recently filed lawsuit that she contracted herpes at a salon while receiving an acrylic nail manicure. It allegedly happened on June 1st, 2023 at PDX Nails located in Portland, Oregon, according to a lawsuit obtained by Law and Crime. The lawsuit, which is seeking $1.75 million, was filed March 5th in Monmouth County Circuit Court and alleges that nail technicians did not wear gloves and stored drill bits in an Altoids mint tin bottle. Okay, I'm just throwing this out there, but if you done saw this when you walked in, then maybe I'd have just walked right the bleep back out. The woman, a 23-year-old identified in the lawsuit as SR, allegedly began to feel ill and had swelling around two fingers immediately after the manicure. I don't think this is how that works. And good morning, Noel. I remembered it's not Noel, it's Noel. So I can learn sometimes. I'm only, fake redhead, but I try. Allegedly in Minecraft, Chris. By June 5th, blisters began forming around her fingers, so she decided to go to an urgent clinic where staff swabbed the blisters. A test came back positive for uh, lady bit herpes. Well, bits and pieces herpes. I am not a doctorologist. I don't know if this is possible. But again, if you saw that these things were in an Altoid mint thing, it is always incumbent upon you to be your own best advocate. If I go to a new doctor and I see that he is, you know, akin to Lionel Hutz of doctorology, I have the choice to get up and and walk out of the clinic and not receive his doctorologiness, but that's just me. The lawsuit said, the lady did not have, herpes before going to the salon, the lawsuit states. Quote, "The infection was painful and the diagnosis caused SR a great deal of distress," the lawsuit stated. She was told the infection could continue to come back and that there is no cure for herpes. Despite taking medication, outbreaks continued for the next several months, with new blisters forming. The lawsuit also states the nail salon in 2021 violated state standards for not properly disinfecting tools. State officials fined the salon $1,000 according to the lawsuit. The lawsuit said the salon owners, Tam and Hai Nugent, were negligent when they failed to properly train their technicians and adhere to safety and sanitation protocols. The impact on the woman is longstanding. Quote, "There is no cure," the lawsuit states. She must, for life, monitor outbreaks for the safety of others, including any partners or future children. The outbreaks, which have continued to occur, require bandaging to prevent spread, are unsightly and painful, and take weeks to clear up. The woman told the Oregonian newspaper that she's been getting manicures since she was 8 or 9 years old. She prompted questions she's prompted questions when she's wearing bandages. People have asked, "What happened to your finger?" She said, "I don't want to tell them what really happened because it's embarrassing." Newspaper reports, while rare, herpes can be transferred during a manicure. A Colorado woman won $3.1 million when she contracted herpes during a manicure. Um, well, because I like Diet Pop, I am working on switching over to sparkling water. It's been a hell of a week. And generally, I am working on giving up one thing, but it's been a hell of a week. So Imma try to do better. I am ordering a stand-up desk and a walking pad, and soon it's gonna be, sparkling water and eventually real water. I mean, Imma be a health nut one of these days, but it's been well, yeah. But in the best news ever, but Vermont is crazy, Vermont State University announces a class based on the music of Weird Al. Look, I love Weird Al. So, I would sign up, but Vermont is full of crazy people, so that apparently you can't have a, force multiplier range because no paramilitary, encampments or whatever. But Vermont state officials said a Harvard course on the music of Taylor Swift inspired them to create a class of their own based around a different sort of musician, Weird Al Yankovic. The class, led by VTSU Linden Music and Performing Arts professor Brian Warwick, is titled Weird Al and His Polkas, which the school said humorously echoes the title of Harvard University's Taylor and Her World. The school said while the class name and much of its subject matter is based around humor, students will also learn some serious concepts. Well, I am trying. Look, if I achieved all of my New Year's resolutions already, I mean, I'd be unstoppable. Let's see. Studying his work offers students a fun and engaging framework to study things like polka, songcraft, and musical production analysis, the school said on social media. Warwick, who has also worked as an audio engineer for Yankovic's two most recent albums, said that the class won't just cover the musician's famous parody songs like Eat It or Amish Paradise. All Al Yankovic's work is not just about the parodies, it's also about his tribute or pastiche songs. where it's actually original works by Al Yankovic, but he's paying tribute to another artist, Warwick told WCAX TV. He said the class will also look at the larger cultural context surrounding the artist's work. It gives us an avenue to start studying the 20th century and pop culture and the 20th century, or pop culture in the 20th century, Warwick said. The class will be open to all Vermont state students in the fall, as well as members of the public who are not enrolled in the school. Well, there you go. I do like that he went to school for his parents and got, I think, a meteorology degree, and then was like, "Okay, parents, can I now go play my music? Can I now go do this now that I've gotten this thing for you?" Um, and this might explain why my boys are trying to take showers without soap, but I don't think that they are teen boys, so I'm thinking that theirs is just, I guess, a boy thing. No shampoo trend growing in popularity with teen boys despite risk. Oh my Bob. I would have been so look, I would throw that out. I would name drop like constantly if I had that in my family, but I'm a weirdo. I'd be like, my uncle knew Weird Al. It'd be like, we weren't even talking about that. I was like, I know, but he did. Let's see. The This trend isn't cutting it. The no poo and no shampoo movement that's been prevalent on social media in recent years appears to be gaining steam among teen boys and young men. But experts are warning that flaking on shampoo can cause dandruff, irritate the scalp, stunt hair growth, and worsen scalp problems. Quote, conditions that make the scalp itchy can mean people scratch, break hair off at the roots, Dr. Anastasia Serenow, a dermatologist and scalp specialist based in London, told the Daily Mail this week. But also, if sweat, oil, and dirt block the follicles, you can find hairs don't grow as effectively as they should, she added. Theranos said foregoing shampoo could lead to inflammation and flakiness that could need to be treated with antifungal shampoo. If you're not cleansing your scalp properly, the microbiome or collection of bacteria and fungus that live on the scalp can become unbalanced. Interesting. Uh, that's when a yeast called something or other can proliferate, and it causes dandruff because the yeast feeds on the oil produced by your scalp, and this process releases a byproduct that irritates the scalp. A 2021 study published by the Skin Appendage Disorders Journal, yeah, look, I know it doesn't sound like it, but the skin appendage disorder blokes are completely wild. You know, let me tell you, if you don't wash your hair, spraying your entire body with more Axe spray isn't gonna get rid of the funk. What in the funktacular is no. Who wash their hair less, face increased risk of hair loss. See, if y'all don't wanna go bold or bald or bold. Gross. Still, several TikTokers claim that not using shampoo has improved their hair. Let's see, uh, Kiona Lam, who is on TikTok, um, posted a video in the fall saying his hair got thinner or got thicker after he stopped using his shampoo 7 months prior. After I started doing no shampoo, my hair became super wavy, also thicker, more texture, and started to smell a lot better. They do have cleansing conditioners. That's what I use on my hair. I mean, we're not going to get it into the full Megan Fox, hair product stuff, but they're, for the love of all that is holy, wash your daggone hair. No. Also, maybe no. Wash your hairs. can make every one of them. Delta pilot drunk with blood alcohol level twice the legal limit before flight to NYC learns his fate. Well, I mean, who among us hasn't had a shot or two before we try to go fly a plane? Oh, not us. A veteran Delta Airlines pilot who showed up drunk with blood alcohol more than twice the legal limit for a flight from Scotland to New York City last year has been sentenced to 10 months in jail. Interesting. Lawrence Russell, 63, from Georgia, learned his fate Tuesday, 2 weeks after pleading guilty in Scotland to a charge of reporting for duty as a pilot while exceeding the prescribed blood alcohol limit. Well, I'm glad someone caught this. Imagine the hundreds they don't catch. Custody is the only appropriate disposal, having regarded the serious nature of your offending, the judge, Sheriff Allison Sterling, told the fired pilot in Edinburgh Sheriff Court. Your offense has shown a high level of culpability and a high potential for serious harm to have been done. Russell was scheduled to captain a Boeing 767 Delta flight bound for JFK on the morning of June 16th, 2023, when two bottles of Jägermeister, one half empty, were discovered on his carry on luggage during a bag search at Edinburgh Airport. Two bottles of Jägermeister? Good Lord. According to a statement by the Judiciary of Scotland, a manual search was then performed after the airport's x ray machine rejected Russell's bag due to the volume of liquids within it. Because Russell was wearing his pilot uniform with Delta lanyard around his neck, police were called. The pilot said he had not drunk recently, but he had been drinking the previous evening. Look, I done stopped an hour ago. I am fine. Russell was given a breath test, which he failed because he was upset about it, according to the statement. He then agreed to provide a blood sample that revealed he had 49 milligrams or micrograms of alcohol in a 100 milliliter volume of blood. I don't know what that translates to, but apparently in Scotland, you can only have 20 either micrograms or milligrams of booze for pilots, and apparently 50 for drivers. And apparently, this is the bottle. The Edinburgh to New York City flight had to be canceled, and Russell was taken into custody, telling law enforcement, quote, "I am terrified." Russell lost his job and was diagnosed with severe alcohol use disorder, which the sheriff noted has been in remission after he completed a recovery program for pilots. Sterling said that while the married dad of two had no prior convictions in the UK, his history did include multiple DUI instances. The sheriff acknowledged that Russell was remorseful for the inconvenience caused to Delta and the airline's passengers. Since his arrest, the disgraced pilot has been on long term disability and receiving half his salary from Delta, which has been described as being very supportive of Russell. My guess is many. Look, there is a pilot crisis. They are running out of trained pilots. They are sending pilots half asleep. There are a couple stories that I don't pick up, but of pilots falling asleep, being sent. I mean, it is getting crazy out there. But there are a lot of air traffic controllers, pilots. I think there are several different professions that are very high for being high likelihood of having alcoholism. So, After completing his jail term, Russell will have to reapply for aviation medical certificate. If granted, he could be reinstated to his former job as captain. I wonder if they're gonna put one of those little, you know how cars, if you have enough DUIs, they put the little blow stick in so they know, that you're not drinking? I wonder. Oh, sorry. I wonder if the plane's gonna have those little, like, continuous blow sticks he has to continue to blow on if he's allowed to. Just saying, that would be hilarious. I mean, not for other people, but, um, well, I mean, at least she committed. A woman faked robbery and then, well, wounded herself with a freedom seed to cover up boyfriend's unaliving, tricked second boyfriend into helping her with the dramatic but unsuccessful plot. So, I mean, she did, well, she committed fully. It didn't work, but she committed. An Ohio woman who tricked one boyfriend into helping her cover up the unaliving of another was now admitted to a spate of crimes. Deborah Debbie Lynn Frazier, 36, pled guilty on Monday to counts of murder with a firearm specification, tampering with evidence, and gross abuse of a corpse, according to a press release issued by the Muskingum County Prosecutor's Office. The murderess had lived with Thomas Waddle, a significantly older man, in an on again, off again relationship for years, according to the statement of facts prepared by prosecutors. The two had met at Kroger grocery store where they both previously worked. Waddle had recently retired, or Waddell, and was known for reaching out and helping those who were in need, prosecutors wrote. Inside their home in Zanesville, a medium sized city and the county seat, were Valentine's Day card, shared cookbooks, and other evidence of a life spent together, according said the state. Frazier deserves and will serve a life sentence for her crime, Assistant Prosecuting Attorney John Little said. This plea allows her to accept responsibility and eliminates the risks associated with a trial on the horrific and tabloid-esque facts of this case. On August 9th, 2023, after days of planning, Waddell was killed. Frazier had walked up behind him while he was sitting down in his recliner and shot him in the head with a force multiplier. His body was then wrapped in trash bags, duct tape, and a comforter. She then set about covering up her crime in dramatic but unsuccessful fashion, prosecutors wrote. The next day, the murderess called 911 to falsely report a burglary. While on the phone with dispatchers, Fraser's feigned, Fraser feigned fright and screamed about two men being in the home. Authorities said she also described a ransacking and arriving at the home to find the door open. Dispatchers heard the sound of a quiet freedom seed being expelled, and then heard her crying out that she'd been shot, prosecutors wrote. Law enforcement rushed over. The officers found Deborah in the entryway of the apartment, bleeding from a gunshot wound to her leg and crying out in pain, the statement reads. She said that white men had come out of the apartment and, well, they had winged her as they left. The entire encounter, she claimed, had occurred while she was on the phone with the police. Officers found the revolver on the ground at Frazier's side. While she was outfitted with a tourniquet and then taken to a nearby hospital, law enforcement found Waddell's wrapped up body in the bathroom or in the bedroom. Investigators found reason to doubt her story. Who'da thunk? Uh, Waddell's apartment was well kept and orderly, the statement goes on. The ransacking described by Frazier was closer to a superficial mess making. Officers found photographs of Frazier and Waddell on the floor, torn up. Nothing of value appeared to be missing, including numerous firearms, all likely to have been stolen in a home invasion. From there, inconsistencies surrounding the entire situation piled up, authorities said. The investigation determined that Waddell had been dead for hours before the 911 call was made. Law enforcement canvassed the area for surveillance footage or witness testimony that would help identify the alleged home invaders. Instead, finding no evidence whatsoever that anyone fled from their residence on the day in question. A follow up interview was conducted where Fraser was asked to submit to test for gunshot residue. When she learned about the test, her story shifted. The woman additionally claimed that she had reached out and touched the force multiplier that shot her, prosecutors wrote. A series of suspicious telling and deleted Google searches were later found on Fraser's phone, including how to load a force multiplier, how to load a revolver force multiplier, how to know what ammo your force multiplier uses, what does 22 ammo look like, worst place to get hit in the head, how to get a VPN, how to go incognito, how to factory reset my phone. Dear Lord, ma'am, I mean, you tried. You just tried. Those searches began on August 5th, 2023. The final search that intrigued investigators occurred on August 10th, 2023, a few hours before Frazier made the 911 call. How long uh, does gunshot residue stay on skin? Darn it, Google. You lied to me. Investigators learned the killer had another boyfriend, John Anderson. He was shocked to discover that his on again, off again girlfriend of 10 years was living with another man. I don't know where she goes on those other weeks of the month. I figured she was free range. I don't even know. Prosecutors wrote. To account for the time spent at Waddell's, Fraser said he was a dementia patient. This long running excuse apparently provided enough impetus for Fraser to convince Anderson into calling Waddell on the phone pretending to be the bank fraud representative. In text messages provided, Fraser explained that Waddell was having an Alzheimer problem and his granddaughter was trying to explain something to him, prosecutors wrote. Fraser, it turned out, had also created a fake fraud representative account purporting to be from the same bank that she and the victim shared. Investigators learned that their joint account had been drawn down some $2,000, giving police a motive for the slaying. One set of fingerprints on a TV had been moved to the floor of Waddell's bedroom, pointed detectives back toward Fraser's robbery story, at least for a while. Investigators traced those fingerprints back to David Eugene Grantham, a white man with a history of theft from Florida. But the Sunshine State authorities quickly put the kibosh on this theory because he died in February 2021. Grantham had been found dead in his apartment by his roommate, Deborah Fraser. The statement of facts states his death was ruled an accidental OD. Forensic testing determined that only the killer's DNA was found on various pieces of relevant evidence at the crime scene, including one lone glove found in Fraser's backpack. The glove tested positive for both gunshot residue and Fraser's DNA. Waddell had been shot with his own force multiplier, investigators learned, which had only ever been shot twice, once to unalive him and then to shoot Fraser in the leg. The physical evidence from the crime scene, along with the killer's own lengthy history of filing false police reports involving elaborate deceptions, led authorities to ultimately believe she had acted alone and that many other persons were duped in her manipulation and lies, prosecutors wrote. Her plea reflects her purposeful killing of Thomas Waddell by use of a firearm, her attempt to corrupt the outcome of the investigation by creating false evidence, by shooting herself, and her treatment of Thomas Waddell's body in a way that would outrage reasonable community sensibilities, prosecutors wrote. This is so wrong. I mean, she was telling her other boyfriend, no, I just live with him because he has Alzheimer's. but please call and tell them that I didn't steal this $2,000. What in the Walmart was this woman thinking? Good lord. If you're done with the relationship, just be done with it. For the love of all that is Cheetos. Well, I have one last story for you guys because it'll make us laugh. And we needed a good story about a good doggo. Man goes extra mile for his large dog on plane ride, and people are cracking up. Some pet owners refuse to travel. If their dog can't go, they can't go either. But what if there was another solution? Enter one man who decided to lay out big bucks to buy his giant dog a seat on his plane. Uh, Not to call into question how much any of us love our dogs, but this dog owner really took the cake when it came to making sure his dog was comfortable. Shared in a video by a TikToker who goes by Super Saiyan Sedai, showed a dog chilling on a seat in an aircraft. Honestly, it looks like the pup is paying attention to the airline employee explaining safety instructions. He's lucky he wasn't sitting in an emergency row. "How much do you love your dog?" said I said in the clip. "Do you love him enough to buy him his own ticket on a plane? Honestly, if our dogs were as good as this big guy, we might just give it a shot." It seems like people in the comments section were totally game. "I would rather sit next to a dog over most people," one man wrote. Yes, I would pay extra to sit next to the dog. A second commenter agreed, while a third person admitted there are no limits to how good they would treat their dog. "I would co-sign for a car if my dog wanted one," they joked. If you're ready to splash out and buy your dog their own plane ticket on your next vacation, here's everything you need to know. First, you'll want to check to see if your airline will allow you to bring your dog on the plane. Air Alaska, JetBlue, JSX, and United Airline all allow passengers to buy dogs a seat. Your dog's breed and size could play a factor in whether the airline will allow this as well. Even if you can buy your dog a seat, they usually must be able to fit into a carrier and be stowed under your seat during takeoff and landing. Once the plane is in the air, you'll be allowed to take your dog out of its carrier and let it go rest on the seat. Sadly, many larger dogs will need to be stowed in the cargo hold. This big guy wasn't an exception, so you'll have to decide if that's a right decision for you. Airline travel with a dog can be difficult, but as this dog proves where there's a will, there's a way. So there you go. "Look at this big old puppy. He's just looking at him." He's like, "I is the goodest boy. I is looking at the direction. I is paying attention." No, I don't want to stop. I don't want to sign in. I hate you, TikTok. Yeah, I know. People with allergies, it would be bad. But I'm like, Beethoven is flying the plane. I would actually watch that movie. Beethoven Flies the Plane. Any hoozle. Have a wonderful weekend. Tomorrow at 2, we will be covering I need to actually work on the thumbnail for that. We will be covering the ever naive, the ever innocent, and the ever gloriously oblivious Cat, Chandler Halderson's ex-girlfriend in Legal Shenanigans Theater. So at 2 p.m., Val Valehammer Media and I will be, uh, doing the Legal Shenanigans Theater, and we will be covering Cat Chandler Halderson's, of course he's innocent, girlfriend who managed to get her boyfriend all the guilties 'cause she done did the location whammy on her boyfriend. But you feel kinda bad for her because she just didn't notice a doggone thing, even though it smelled like rack-a-dad in there. Any hoozle. If you wanna hear things like that, come join us tomorrow at 2 p.m. I'll allow it. only on Spirit Airlines. Have a wonderful day. Say something nice to yourself and say something nice to someone else. Spread kindness all around. We can affect our small circle if we just say a couple nice things a day to just people around us. So have a wonderful weekend. If I don't see you this weekend, and I will be back for Newsy News on Monday morning at the same time. Bye, guys.